Hi, I'm Mark Sleboda, and this is The Real Politick. All we usually hear from the Western mainstream media about the condition of Ukrainian forces fighting for the West-backed Kiev Putsch regime at the front is increasingly Baghdad Bob-esque level absurd pronouncements about high morale, all Ukrainians united as one to heroically defend their country from the evil Russian invader, and that Kiev regime forces just go from victory to victory, in reverse, evidently. But what are things really like at the front in the East? What is really going on there? Today, I'd simply like to read to you from a letter from Sergei Gnezdilov, a Ukrainian volunteer fighting for the Kiev regime at the front in Peski in the Donetsk region, to show you the point of view and tragic plight of a Ukrainian soldier in this grim conflict. In his own words, something they have not and will not report in the Western media. In Peski right now, there is a crucial battle raging where Russian and allied Donbass forces have recently punched through tough Kiev regime defensive lines and fortifications, and now claim to have taken most of the settlement. This letter was published on Ukrainian media outlet Censor.net and has ignited a firestorm on Ukrainian social media. What is there to lose? What else can be taken from me on the 6th day of my personal hell in Peski, 1 kilometer from the first street of Ukrainian Donetsk? The bodies of those who were dearer to me than my kin lie under the heat in trenches, hacked up by 152 millimeter caliber shells. As I wrote earlier, 6,500 shells per fucking village fell on us in less than 24 hours. It's been like this for 6 days now, and it's hard to fathom how any number of our infantry remain alive in this barrage of fire. No, I'm not whining. 282 and 120 millimeter mortars are working from our side. That's it. Sometimes 2 barrels of artillery wake up and sneeze toward Donetsk. So we almost do not respond. There is no counter-battery fire. None at all. The enemy, without any problems, puts artillery shells in our trenches and takes apart very strong, fortified concrete positions in dozens of minutes, without a pause and minimal rest, squeezing our line of defense. The day before yesterday, the dam broke and a river of KIA WIAs poured in. I do not publish any statistics. It is forbidden in our country. But you have no idea the number and percentage of our losses. It's a fucking meat grinder, where the battalion simply holds back the invasion with its own bodies. For almost a week, we have been waiting for at least some reinforcements to hit the enemy artillery. We are, I repeat, being burned with impunity, with everything the Russian military system is rich in. Today, aviation worked us. I'm proud of this battalion leadership that stayed here with us. Everyone is with us, shell-shocked, light WIAs, bandaged, and returning in a couple of hours to their positions, if you can call these bottomless craters that. There is a war going on, but without counter-battery fighting, it turns into a senseless meat grinder, where huge numbers of our infantry are ground up in a day. Are you sure you wanted the truth? Here it is, the naked truth. The reserve went to the position to cover the advance, but 5 minutes later, out of 15 men, only 1 was left unharmed. bodies lying on the ground. If it's a light WIA, maybe you'll get lucky and get out on foot. The only one they carried was a wounded man. He was screaming the whole way. Where is the support? Where is the artillery? Why were we abandoned? Why wasn't anyone covering us? I don't know, buddy, why nobody covered us. I'm ashamed I'm still in one piece. Only a couple of times I was pretty deaf. I had a vomit, took a shit, sorry for the language, and I'm back in the trenches. All the reserves are spent. The military equipment goes up in flames, and the enemy approaches and takes our positions without any problems, after another barrage of artillery. Right now we are losing Peski. All our human and material capabilities are almost exhausted. Denis, the man from Mariupol, who told me, well, I believe Arestovich. Arestovich is one of Zelensky's advisors and ideologues. I believe him when he said, we'll get it all back pretty soon. Denis is dead. He was wounded twice. They bandaged him right in a trench. They told him, Denis, go to the evacuation. But he answered, guys, I will not leave you. And he was wounded for the first time. And after the second wound, he continued to shoot back. We still haven't picked up his body. At the ruins of Peski, he lies, with his arms outstretched and his gaze fixed. He is asking for revenge. How can I refuse his last request? How can we all leave Denis? But I believe Denis survived after all, because he couldn't have died, having just recently returned from the hospital, having only just proposed to his girlfriend. They say that after one of his visits, he just disappeared, buried under a mound of earth. But I believe it's a mistake, and he's alive. A foolish hope and prayer? I know our government doesn't like us to think out loud, but I was left with no choice amongst victory-mongering and Arestovichism. The truth should be heard, not whispered in conversations in the kitchen. Of course, I will get a separate bullet for this, because how could the state lie to its own citizens? I would not be surprised if today someone said, Kremlin agent Seryoja, himself, blabbed about the brilliant plan of the victor on the Donetsk front. Let's list him on Mirotvorets. Mirotvorets is a Kiev regime interior ministry governed hit list for anyone critical of the regime. I'm tired of saying that everything is under control. Now in Peski, everything is not under control. But for some reason, the situation is being hushed up. Ring the alarm bells while we cover Peski with our bodies. Good luck, Sergei.